Now, before one more word is said, let us halt the old momentum. Stop the mind where it loves to run on and decorate itself. The very instant you complete I am, you have stepped out of presence and into a conclusion. You have traded the living name for a label. No, I am not going to let you fill it in today. Rich, poor, healthy, sick, spiritual, advanced. The moment you put a tail on that word, the fish swims away and you hold only a hook. Be still and know that I am God. Not know that I am something you have named. Know that I am. Exodus speaks it plainly. I am that I am. Do you hear? Not I am this or that. I am. I must say to you, and you who have come only to sample, to browse, to argue, this is not for you. I speak to those who have wearied of slogans and are ready to practice in secret until this truth ceases to be a sentence and becomes their state. I am not giving you a phrase to carry on your lips. I am calling you to a silence that will carry you. If you have come for another positive statement to paste upon a mirror, you may as well go now. Mirrors cannot reveal the invisible. If you have come for self-improvement, you will meet only the self you wish to improve. We are not trimming the hedge. We are entering the garden. Take not the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Do not take it into vanity, into the vanity of mental labeling, of parading knowledge. Leave it unspoken until it speaks itself. Now then, this must be understood in the posture of teacher to student. I am not inviting debate. I am setting a charge. You will treat what I say today as if it had been placed in your keeping by a friend who would rather lose the gold than see it counterfeited. Do not pass this on as a technique. If it becomes a formula, at best it is harmless words evaporating in warm air. At worst, it misleads you into believing that the letter is the presence. If this gets into the wrong hands, it becomes another method, another I am this and I am that, rattled off in hope or fear. Better, far better, that it had never been heard than that it become a banner for the ego. Keep the purpose of it secret. What then is our aim? Not to finish the sentence, not to improve the person, not to force results. The aim is to let the name remain unspoken so that the I may reveal itself as governor. Not you grasping at God, but God as I announcing itself where you are. Lo, I am with you always, not as a thought you maintain, but as the presence that maintains you. Hear me, the finishing impulse is the very veil. Resist the rush to define. Abide in the unfinished, and you will discover it is, in truth, complete. Be still and stop there. Be still and know I am God. I must ask you for sincerity, for secrecy, for a willingness to be disciplined without aggression. You don't have to remain a student. You can return to the markets of words and labels. But if you do stay, you must accept what I say, and you must practice until the hurry dies in you. Keep the lips from performing. Let the heart be instructed. Sit, stand, walk, no matter. But do not finish that holy name. Let it hover. Let it deepen until the unspoken I, not spoken of, not thought about, not boasted, begins to be felt as the quiet governor of your breath and bone. So we begin here at the threshold where sentences end and God begins. Be still and know I am, and do not add one thing. Now then, if you will stay very still just long enough to hear this, you will spare yourself many months of wandering. The reason naming blocks realization is not mysterious. It is simple and relentless. Naming makes an object. The instant you say, I am this, you have placed a frame around a life that cannot be framed, and you have made of it a picture to be looked at and judged. Presence is not a picture. Presence is not even something you can successfully think about. The presence that says I am is not an object of your thought. It is the light by which thought appears. Before Abraham was, I am. Do you see? That is not the voice of a person adding a predicate. That is the announcement of being that precedes your sentences about it. For the purpose of this work, you must assume there are two of you, the one with a name, with birthdays and sorrows and accomplishments, and the one that says, I, my real self, without surname or schedule, and then me, the one introduced to the world by documents and stories. The named self is the collector of labels. It is the wearer of costumes, sick, well, parent, child, spiritual, backslider, generous, afraid. But the I that is God's self as your life knows no such garments. If you forget this distinction, you will keep trying to improve the character in the story, and you will not wake to the author. Listen well. There is a subtle violence in predicates. The moment you say, I am sick, you have drawn a sword against your own peace, because you have tied identity to an appearance, and then compounding it, you will attempt to cure the identity by changing the appearance. But watch this, even when you say, I am successful, I am spiritual, I am free, the violence persists in a prettier garment. You have still bound the I to a form. You have still made a person out of presence. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Do not place effects pleasant or unpleasant before the I. The me is the image in the mirror. The I is the light. You cannot realize the light as long as you are polishing the image. A woman came to me, this will serve us, saying, I am exhausted, I am not enough. And I said, no, that is not the voice of I. That is the voice of the named self reporting on its own mask. Who is it that hears that report? Who is the one to whom the sentence appears? Stay there. Do you not see that even the statement, I am exhausted, is an event in awareness, and the awareness in which it occurs is not exhausted? The awareness is the holy ground. Moses did not name a condition. He removed the shoes from his feet because the ground itself was the revelation. I am that I am, not I am tired, not I am powerful. I am. Now, you may ask, shall I never call a thing by its name? I am not telling you how to speak to your neighbor. I am telling you how to know yourself. The tongue may say, I have a meeting, but the heart must not say, I am a hurried one. The mouth may say, the body is ill, but the soul must not say, I am disease. The person may have a season, the I is the Lord of the season. Be still and know that I am God. The moment you add a tale to that, you create a tale, do you see? And you begin to believe it, and then inevitably you will pray to make a better tale. That is using God for a purpose. That is bowing to an image and asking it to smile. Who, then, is the one that is aware of the label? Who is the witness before the word forms? Stop there. Do not rush to answer with a new label. No metaphysical flourish now. Be silent enough to feel the difference. The named self is inside the sentence. The I is outside the sentence, governing. The named self is hungry for predicates. The I has no hunger. The named self understands time. The I meets time as a servant. If you will keep the name uncompleted, you will begin to sense the shift. You will discover that the me cannot realize the I that simply is. The me can study it, argue it, market it. Only I can know I, and that knowledge is not a conclusion, it is being. Therefore, let us make a covenant here. When the mind rushes with its descriptions, do not strike it. Do not join it. Simply recognize this is the me doing what it does. And then, quietly, obediently, let the sentence fall before it reaches the predicate, I am, and stop. Do you not feel already the loosening? The grip of the image weakens, and there, in the gap, the governor is felt. Keep the lips from finishing. Keep the heart from wanting to take no thought for your life. Let the I that is your life reveal itself. And when it does, you will say nothing. You will be, now then, having come this far, I must lay down the rule that protects the whole work. Put up thy sword. Do not take this holy I am and turn it into a blade with which to cut away pain, fear, or circumstance. The moment you do, you have left presence and entered strategy. That is, using God for a purpose, and I will not allow it in this room. Put up thy sword into the sheath, and let us stand where the Master stood, without aggression toward thought, body, or condition. Be still, and know that I am God. Not be busy arranging God. Not be clever about God. Be still. You see, even good affirmations can be warfare. The mind says, I am healthy, I am strong, I am supply, and it thinks it is doing a holy work. But what is it? It is the named self trying to overpower an appearance with a prettier appearance. It is still the image polishing the image, and in that very effort you testify that the appearance has power needing to be met by more power, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the inner voice. Our way is not to oppose effects, but to see through them. Refuse them power without lifting a hand against them. Resist not evil. Do not resist it with spiritual bullets, affirmations fired in fear. Stand still and see the salvation that is I. You will be flooded, some of you already are, with claims of lack, of hurt in this joint or that organ, of loss, of shame, of headlines that parade terror. These are claims, not powers. They are appearances, not laws. Do not flatter them by fighting them. If you make war on a shadow, you have already granted its substance. If you strike at the wind becomes your opponent. Our law, and it is a law you must accept if you remain a student, is this. All power is in the I that I am. There is no power in form or effect. Therefore, get thee behind me, Satan, is not an insult hurled at a thing. It is the gentle refusal to bow to suggestion. It is the turning of the face to the living I. Now, how will you know if aggression has crept in? You will feel strain. You will feel a pushing behind the eyes, a tightening at the mouth, a hurry inside the chest. The body becomes a battlefield. When that is present, stop the entire operation. Sit back within yourself and hear, even if only faintly, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Let the shoulders drop. Let even the attempt to cure drop. Let the sentence drop where it ought. I am and no more. In that suspension, something quiet begins to govern. The claim has no one to argue with, and finding no adversary, it dissolves into its native nothingness. Never undertake healing work until you have established yourself in this non-aggression. I say that to protect you and those who come to you. If you take a case with a sword in your hand, the case will take your sword and fight you with it. But if you enter without weapon, if you enter as presence, you meet no opponent. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. That is not passivity. That is inner government. It is not indifference. It is dominion. It is not neglect. It is obedience to the one. Law, thou shalt have no other gods, no other powers before me. So then, here is the rule for the rest of our practice together. No straining, no mental wrestling, no bargaining with God. We are not going to make something happen. We are going to witness I be what I eternally is. When a thought shouts, do not shout back. When the body complains, do not scold it. When a condition parades, Do not drag it from the stage. Simply refuse to be its audience. Turn quietly to the unfinished. Name and abide. Be still and know that I am God. Stay there until the knowing is not a sentence but a felt weight of peace. In that peace, governance is established. In that governance, healing begins not as conquest, but as the natural correction that occurs when power is returned to its source. Now then, let us begin the first experiment. Not tomorrow, not when you have read one more page. Here, now, close the circuit of attention, as it were, so that you are not out there looking at me, but in here, aware that you are aware, and with the lips still and the tongue quiet in the mouth, say within yourself, I am, and stop. Stop there. Do not add one more syllable. Not peace, not love, not spirit, not even God. I am, and let the sentence hang, unfinished, as if you had prepared to step and discovered the ground had already arrived to meet your foot. You will find, if you are honest, that the next word rushes forward like a child breaking line. It will try to help you finish the holy sentence. The mind, eager to do a good work, will say, let me supply a reverent word. No, that tendency is the very veil we are training to let dissolve. The panic you feel, yes, some of you will feel it like an itch to complete, a flutter under the sternum, a nervous twitch behind the eyes that is the training edge. Do not rebuke it. Do not indulge it. Do not complete the sentence to soothe it. Simply abide one breath longer in the unfinished place. Take no thought for your life. Do you hear? Take no thought for your identity either. The identity is announcing itself. When the next word appears, and it will appear, a dozen of them will queue up in their Sunday best. Do not suppress them as if you were swatting flies. Suppression is aggression. Let them present themselves and bow themselves out without your signature. Your work is not to finish I am, but to return gently to the bare sense of being just, the awareness that is aware. Touch that, however faintly, the way the hand touches a still wall in the dark and knows it is not falling. If you lose it, good. You have discovered where your practice is needed. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Return, rest, be quiet, be confident. Now make use of the anchor, not as poetry, but as command. Be still. Say it within, not aloud, as an instruction to the whole mechanism that would hurry you into completion. Be still. Breathe without managing the breath. Let the eyes be soft in their sockets. Let the tongue lie down from its craft. Let the hands empty themselves of purposes. Be still, and then again, begin. I am, and stop. If the old cleverness tries to sprint in with I am peace, smile at it as you would a zealous usher and return to your seat. If, more subtly, it whispers, I am being spiritual now, do not argue. You are already back in the theater. Stand in the aisle of the heart and remain unseated by any role. You may say to me, how will I know when I am doing it? You will know because something in you will drop a fraction of an inch. It is not dramatic. Do not look for stars. It feels like this. The weight of attention that had been leaning forward reclines. The pressure behind the eyes releases. The breath breathes itself, and a wordless composure takes the chair that all your words had been trying to build. The psalm does not say, be complicated and know. It says, be still and know that I am God. The knowing begins as a hush that does not need your sentence to certify it. Do not hurry it. Do not congratulate it. Do not turn to see if it is there. That movement is finishing the sentence. Give this 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day. Several short periods will do more to re-educate the finishing impulse than one heroic vigil bristling with effort. At the start of each period, begin exactly as you have been taught. Turn within, I am, stop, be still. When thoughts parade, do not chase or cheer. Let parade be parade and you remain the empty reviewing stand, aware of awareness. If the urge to use this to get something arises, smile and put up thy sword. You are not here to convert silence into a tool. You are here to be converted by silence into obedience. And hear me, because I say this for your safety. Keep the lips from performing. Keep the display out of the room. This is not a trick to be shown. It is a government to be received. Your practice is fulfilled when the finishing impulse itself grows quiet and the name rests in you unspoken. Abide there, even if only for a breath. Abide, for in that breath, the governor begins to be felt, and the claim, whatever it had been, finds no one to address. Be still, and know that I am God. Stop at I am, and let the knowing descend of its own authority. Now then, since the mind will leap in to complete what we have left wholly and unfinished, we must include the body, for an agitated body keeps the mind chattering. Isn't your body your student? Isn't it the very instrument on which the hymn must be played? If the strings are tight and squealing, even the best musician seems clumsy. So we do not scold the instrument, we tune it. We do not beat it into submission, we bid it with authority and kindness. Be still, and know that I am God. Not your thought of God, no. The stillness itself becomes the knowing. Take your seat within, lips closed, eyes soft. Now, very simply and very truly, assume the posture I give you. Imagine, as I often do, that you are just above the head, as if seated on the quiet apex of your own awareness, looking gently down through the crown. From there, address the brain, not to fix it, not to force it, but to invite it out of its whir. Be still. Say it once, and wait. Allow 10 heartbeats if you wish, but do not count, feel. Be still. The temples, the brow, the eyes in their soft caves, be still. The lids, the tiny muscles around them, the space behind the eyes, be still. The jaw that loves to clench its opinions, be still. Now then, let that same inner voice, quiet, unfussy, move to the throat. The tongue, the root of the tongue, the soft palate, the back of the neck, be still. And the shoulders, oh, what armor we hoist there, let them drop their cause. Be still. Do not hurry. The rhythm is the prayer. Down the upper arms, the elbows, forearms to the wrists, be still, into the hands now, as if you could look through the palms from the inside. The backs of the hands, the centers, the base of each finger, one by one if you like, or as a chorus. Be still, do you see? We are not manufacturing presence. We are making room for the presence that is. Return gently to the chest. Do not manage the breath. Let it breathe itself while you speak only this. Be still. The lungs, their bellows, the heart, not to command it, not even to calm it, simply to bid the surrounding field release its grasp. Be still. Beneath that, the diaphragm's rim like a quiet ring around your middle. Be still. Let the solar plexus unlearn its guarding. Peace. Be still. Not shouted, remember. The master spoke to the wind, and there was a great calm. Now move behind, along the spine, vertebra by vertebra if you wish, cervical, thoracic, lumbar. No anatomy lesson is required, only the felt sense of an axis relaxing. Be still. The muscles that brace the back on either side of the column. Be still. In the belly, yes, and the organs you need not name, let them be addressed as one household. Be still. We are not repairing, we are revealing governance. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Down through the hips now, the bowl of the pelvis, where so much past tries to take up residence. Be still. The joints be kind here. Do not pry. Be still. Thighs heavy on their bones. Be still. Knees, these faithful hinges. Be still. Calves and shins. Ankles with their delicate balance. Be still. The tops of the feet, the arches, the heels. Be still. And at last each toe, as if you had all the time in the world, because, in truth, the I that you are is not in time. Be still. Do not go back to the head in a rush, as if to collect a prize. Stay where you are a moment, feeling the whole instrument as one body, a single field yielded to a single word. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Let even your cleverness bow. Notice whether the impulse to finish I am has lost its teeth. Notice whether the room of you has grown larger, not by thinking thoughts of largeness, but by ceasing to crowd it with words. This is not hypnosis. This is obedience. This is not a technique to make a condition change. This is the condition becoming receptive to the presence that governs without your approving it. If in any part you meet resistance, a flutter, a fidget, an objection, do not strike it. Put up thy sword. Visit that region again as a patient teacher returns to a slow student, and without irritation, say once more, be still. The body hears you, because in this work you are not the person cajoling organs. You are I addressing its own instrument. And when the body is bidden to be still, it becomes receptive to the presence. You are not manufacturing. This is the point. This is the safeguard. In that receptivity, the finishing impulse weakens, and the name rests unspoken, governing. Be still and know. Stop there. Stay there until the quiet becomes heavier than the words, and you sense without sentence that the I is here. Now then, I must tell you what comes of faithful repetition, not tomorrow, not as a promise dangled in front of you, but as a simple law that appears when you cease trying to make it appear. At the start, you were the one addressing, weren't you? You stood, as we have said, just above the head, and you spoke with quiet authority down through the instrument. Be still. You were teacher, body was student, but if you hold to this without hurry, without aggression, there comes a turn, not dramatic, not with trumpets, but a shift so gentle that only sincerity can recognize it. You discover, to your surprise, that you are no longer doing the addressing. The very stillness you invoked begins to address you. Do not look for voices with accents and personalities. That is imagination. This is different. It is a fact before words. You will notice it this way. You sit to bid the body be still, and before your instruction arranges itself, there is a settling that does not wait for you. The breath is breathing. The shoulders that you were about to counsel have already laid down their case. The mind that would supply lines to finish I am has grown quiet as if answered. In that quiet, a governance is felt uninsistent, unmistakable, and out of that governance there rises not your quotation, but a hearing within of what you once recited. Be still and know that I am God. Not spoken at the mind, known as an inner fact. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, and you recognize it because you are no longer manufacturing peace. Peace has you. You will be tempted to pounce upon this and claim it, to say, I have reached the point, I have heard. Put up thy sword. The instant you make a monument of the moment, you have finished the sentence again and returned to the little me curating a story. The name must remain unspoken, even here, especially here, because it is in the refusal to label that the turn completes itself. The person's part is to be very quiet and let the I be I. The person becomes the beholder, It is no longer me directing my body to stillness. It is I, the very life, addressing me and mine as its own. The kingdom of God is within you. Do you hear? Not as an aspiration, but as a present rule. How will you know this is trustworthy and not your private theater? Because there is no flattery in it and no audience. There is no rush to tell anyone. There is no image, no light show, no phrase to embroider. There is only a companionship that does not depend upon your doing. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. It registers as a weight of quiet right where the old hurry used to live. You feel governed as a sail feels the wind, but there is nothing to look at, nothing to grasp. The body responds without being managed. A thought approaches, finish it, label it, publish it, and you find that you need not move. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. It is not passivity, it is being addressed. Keep the rule, then, as a hedge about the vineyard. When it turns, and you sense the inner addressing, do not reach for it. Do not speak to it. Do not analyze it. You will undo it if you make of it a prize. Let it speak as it will, when it will, or not at all. The instant you put a tail on it, I am enlightened, I am advanced, I am now hearing God. You have created a person again, and the veil has been woven anew. Instead, let the old prayer return as if from the deep of your own life, simple, stern, and merciful. Be still and know that I am God. Then stop. Allow that knowing to be the actor, and you, the one named by neighbors and papers, become the witness. This, beloved, is the maturity of our practice. Presence addresses you from within, and the self that once tried to hold the reins sits quietly in the carriage and rides. No spectacle, no advertisement, only the steadying of the whole field under a wordless governance. Keep it secret, keep it sincere, and if you ask, what shall I do in that moment? I answer, nothing. Do not finish the name. Be still, let the eye be what it is, and be content to behold. Now then, let us meet the question that has been waiting at the edge of our practice. Why does the silence heal? Not because silence is a charm, not because quietness itself has some mysterious medicinal virtue, but because in that unspoken I, the claim is left without a borrower, without a signer. In the hush, where the name is not completed, identity is withdrawn from the appearance, and what had seemed to threaten finds no one to threaten. Resist not evil, not because evil must be obeyed, but because resistance is an admission of power. We do not deny the appearance as if shouting at a shadow. We stand where the shadow has no sun to borrow. Be still and know that I am God. There is your principle. In that knowing, the claim cannot become law. There is, and you must fasten this within you, no power in form or effect. All power is in the I that I am unspoken, uncontained, not parceled into parts and pieces. Form reports, it does not rule. Effect displays, it does not decree. The moment you grant power to a sensation, to a headline, to a mood, you have finished the sentence and put the seal of I am upon an appearance. I am anxious. Do you hear the violence in that? You have bound the infinite to a temporary ripple and then tremble before what you yourself have anointed. But if, at the very threshold where that phrase rushes up, you stop I am and do not finish, the knot cannot be tied. Anxiety remains what it always was, an event in awareness, a movement across the face of the waters. The awareness is I. Before Abraham was, I am. Awareness is not anxious. You may think, but isn't that just semantics, word games with sacred syllables? No, it is jurisdiction. Identity determines government. When you complete I am anxious, you have issued a passport to the symptom. You have escorted it past the border into the citadel of self. It becomes resident. It speaks with your voice. When you let I am stand alone, the border is kept, and the officer at the gate, which is silence, refuses entry. The appearance remains outside as weather, not law. And what is the fate of weather when you stop building altars to it? It changes. It passes. It returns to its native nothingness because it draws no further breath from your belief. Do you not see then why we are relentless about non-aggression? The sword, even a golden sword of holy phrases, keeps the quarrel alive, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord within. The Spirit's government is recognized in stillness, and under that government the claim has no jurisdiction. This is not passivity. It is right placement of power. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And when you hold your peace in that way, when the name is kept unspoken and the finishing impulse dissolves, you discover that what you called a problem cannot present itself to I. It has business only with the person who would sign for it. The person is quiet. The office is closed. There is no signature forthcoming. Now, I do not tell you to pretend that nothing appears. We are not children closing our eyes. We are sentinels who know the difference between a passing cloud and a royal decree. The cloud is seen, yes, but not obeyed. The decree alone governs, and the decree is simple and without ornament. I am. No predicate, no parade. The very nothingness of the claim precludes the necessity for any God to do anything about it. God, your I does not fix a nothing. I reveals the nothing as nothing by refusing to share identity with it. Let God arise. Let his enemies be scattered. Arise into the unspoken I, and you will watch enemies turn into air. Therefore, when the next disturbance approaches, with its practice script, meet it at the gate with silence. Do not stamp its passport with your name. Withdraw identity, return it to the governor, and abide until the weight of quiet takes the throne again. Peace, be still, not forced, not dramatized, simply allowed, because the only power present is the power that is presence. Keep the name uncompleted. Keep your seat. In that obedience, healing is not achieved. It appears as the natural condition when governance is restored to where it belongs. Be still and know. Now then, having seen why the silence heals, I must put a hedge about this vineyard. Do not make a demonstration out of it. Keep the work secret and sincere, or it becomes performance instead of presence. Enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Do you hear? Not in the marketplace, not in the public square, where hands applaud and tongues compare notes. In secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. The open reward, if any, is not yours to arrange. The secrecy is yours to keep. I must ask you not to pass this meditation on to anyone until you yourself have completely mastered it. If it gets into the wrong hands, by which I mean hands that want to use it as a trick, as a slogan, as a quick knife to cut trouble, it may be better that the tape never had been made, the lesson never had been given. This is not because we are stingy with truth. It is because truth mishandled injures the handler. Technique without consciousness makes magicians, not healers. You can copy the words, but you cannot copy the weight unless you have paid for it in stillness. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. It does not arrive because you say the right syllables in the right order. It arrives as government within when the personal hunger for results has been put up into the sheath. Put up thy sword. You will be tempted, some of you at once, to test this on your neighbor, to gather a portfolio of results, to tell a story in which you are the fortunate instrument. Resist the temptation. Never undertake healing work until you have established yourself in non-aggression and the unspoken name. I say that as a command, not a suggestion. If you take a case to prove a point, the point will use you. If you move toward anyone with a technique and a hope, you have already left the holy ground. Return. Be still and know that I am God. When you can take your seat in that stillness and remain 10 minutes with the finishing impulse dissolved, no rush to label, no itch to perform, then perhaps when a case comes to you, you may be permitted to be present. Not to do, but to be. And even then, keep it secret. Let us lay down the sincerity test, because without it, you will deceive yourself. Ask, am I moved to speak of this? Am I eager to report results, to win an argument, to correct another's religion, or bolster my own? If so, close your lips and enter the inner room. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. That is not a proverb about bookkeeping. It is a law of worship. All worship is wrong when done in public in order to be seen, because it loses the weight of spiritual sincerity. Keep the purpose of it secret. If you must kneel, kneel. If you must stand at a window, stand. But do not turn the posture into a display. Better to look clumsy before men and clean before God than polished before men and empty beneath the polish. Now, because I love you, I will say this sharply. Do not turn this teaching into content, debate, or merchandise. Do not embroider it with clever phrases and hang it where passers-by can admire your needlework. Do not answer questions you have not earned the right to answer by practice. If asked, guide a sincere soul to stillness. But keep the Holy of Holies veiled until there is reverence enough to enter. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, not as an insult to any, but as a protection of the holy from your own vanity. The moment you make a performance of it, you will feel the current drain from your work. The name becomes a banner in your hand rather than a scepter in the heart, and banners flutter, scepters govern. What, then, is our goal? Not a scrapbook of spiritual experiences, not a string of demonstrations to wear around the neck, not the warm applause of like-minded friends. Our aim is a way of being safe, gentle, and lawful, where the I that I am stands forth as governor without advertisement. This is the secret place of the Most High, and those who dwell there abide under the shadow of the Almighty. To abide is to remain, to be found there morning and evening, to refuse hurry. It is to live so quietly that when the appearance knocks, there is no performer at home, only presence. Then, if healing appears, it appears as the natural correction under law, not as the success of your method. So let us covenant together in this. We will not turn the unfinished name into a show. We will not hurry to do a work for others until the peace has descended and remains. We will keep the lips from boasting and the hands from arranging. We will let the inner addressing ripen us in private until consciousness is constituted to bear the weight, and when the occasion arises, we will meet it, not to prove anything, but to behold. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Keep the peace by keeping the secret. Be still and know. Now then, let us be as practical as a carpenter laying a true line. Knowing the correct letter of truth is only a step, unless you practice the truth you know and practice it until it becomes bone of your bone. It will remain a lovely sentence pinned to the corkboard of the mind. Truth works only as constituted consciousness. I must ask you to accept this. You will not master this work in a weekend. No, it will take you not less than 3 to 4 months of faithful returning before you can say that the finishing impulse has lost its tyranny and the inner government has taken its seat. Do not hurry it. Hurrying is the old king trying to keep the throne by declaring a holiday. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Wait rightly daily, quietly, without performance. Your schedule will be simple, and you must keep it. Each day, one longer sitting 20 to 30 minutes at a time when the world has not climbed onto your shoulders. Morning is best for most. Evening will do if your morning is already claimed by duty. Take your seat, close the door of your room and of your mouth, and begin as you have been taught, I am, and stop. Be still. Bid the instrument be still from crown to toes if needed, but do not make a ritual of polishing parts. Make room for governance. When thoughts parade, let them pass. When the itch to get something rises, put up thy sword. You are not here to use God for a purpose. You are here to be used by God without purpose. 20 minutes, perhaps 30. No heroics. Be still and know that I am God. Then stop and let the knowing be the actor. In addition to that, sitting, weave 3 or 4 short periods into the day, 3 to 5 minutes each, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, perhaps at day's end. Stop what you are doing, even if what you are doing is very important, especially then, and return to the unfinished name, I am, and stop. 1 minute, 2, 3, no clocks necessary, only honesty. Let the finishing impulse tire itself out while you remain gently where it cannot reach. This is not retreat. It is recommissioning. You are resetting jurisdiction from the named self to I. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Now I give you the micro reset, and I give it to you as law several times a day, 10, 12, as life allows. Interrupt yourself mid-activity, in the hallway, at the sink, before you answer the bell, with the hand on the doorknob, even halfway through a sentence if you can do so without discourtesy. Inwardly say, I am, and drop into a single breath of stillness. One breath only, but a true one, in which you do not finish the name and you do not reach for an effect. Then resume. Do not announce it. Do not explain it. Keep it secret. These one-breath obediences, stacked like quiet stones, build the altar on which the daily sitting kindles into governance. How shall you measure your progress? Not by visions, not by bliss, not by a new vocabulary to dazzle friends. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. The proof is increased inner government, less compulsion to label, to react, to fear. You will notice that the urge to finish I am grows faint. Events arise, and the old hand does not fly to name them with your name. A disturbance appears, and the body remembers. Be still before you tell it. The tongue loosens from argument. The shoulders drop their cause. Where you once would have hurried to defend, you now find that you can behold. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Holding your peace becomes natural, not strained. That is the sign the seat of government has shifted and the person is content to be the beholder. Keep to this for not less than 3 months. Miss a sitting, if you must, for duty's sake, but never miss the micro resets. They are your lifeline across the day. Do not add ornaments. Do not shorten because today feels bright. Stay with the unfinished name until the quiet has weight. In time, and not by your calendar, the letter will have melted into your very seeing. Then you will find that without arranging, you live more and more in the unspoken. I governed, unobtrusive, safe. Be still, return, refuse, hurry, let truth become you until it needs no words. Now then, a word to those of you who, having kept this schedule a week or two, have secretly decided that you do not like it. At first, you may not enjoy it. You may not even approve of it. Be honest. The personal self feels displaced when it cannot name itself. The impulse to finish I am is its breath, and when you deny it that breath, it kicks the stall. That is not failure. That is not a bad meditation. That is the very protest we have been waiting to hear, because it proves that jurisdiction is moving Resistance is not failure. It is the named self protesting as the unspoken I takes precedence. You will meet restlessness. It says, get up, do something, tighten the reins. This is a waste. Do not argue with it. Do not hammer it with new phrases. Do not bargain. Put up thy sword. Bid the body be still, as you have learned, crown to souls, and let be still, and know that I am God, be your only law. Not shouted, not to win a contest, said once and waited upon. 10 slow heartbeats of waiting, not counting, but consenting, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Restlessness is not a power, it is weather. Do not stamp its passport with your name. You will meet boredom. Boredom is the mind begging for a predicate. Give me a story. Give me a brighter slogan. Dress the silence in sequins. No, do not seek a new phrase. Do not decorate the room because you are unused to bare walls. Return to the unfinished. Name exactly where you left it. I am, and stop. When the mind yawns, let it. When it complains, do not tiptoe, do not scold. Sit as a parent sits beside a drowsy child and repeats gently, firmly, kindly, be still. If you trade the silence for sparkle, you will have sold jurisdiction for entertainments. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. It does not come with fireworks. It comes with government. You will meet fear, and this one is honest, the fear of emptiness, the fear that if you stop finishing yourself, you will dissolve and someone else will take the wheel. Listen carefully. The one who is afraid is the one we are unseating. Control is precisely what obscures inner government. The silence is not vacancy, it is presence, uncostumed. Fear not, for I am with thee. Not an empty room, an unseen governor. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. As that peace presents, it does not flatter you, it does not advertise itself, it simply removes the urge to clutch. Let it. Let the old manager tender its resignation without ceremony. How then shall you proceed when these objections arrive? You already know. Do not force the mind quiet. Force is the mind's own method, and you must not borrow it. Reaffirm gentleness. Speak down through the instrument as you have been taught. Be still to the eyes that scan for trouble. Be still to the throat that wants to argue. Be still to the chest that tightens to steer, and then stop speaking. Allow the unspoken I to be what it is. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Holding your peace is your whole obedience in that hour. Do not change methods on dark days. Do not shorten because it is dull, nor lengthen to chase a feeling. Keep to the schedule. Keep to the micro resets. Meet every objection at the gate with the same law. Do not finish the name. If tears come, let them. If images come, let them pass as clouds. If nothing comes at all, best of all, that nothing is not absence, it is the secret place. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Abide. Refuse. Hurry. Bid all within you, firmly and kindly, be still until the protest spends itself and the quiet takes the throne again. Now then, let us seal this not with fanfare, not with new phrases, but with the same simplicity that brought you here. You have seen that the instant you finish I am, you create a person who must defend a label. And you have seen that when the name remains unspoken, presence stands forth without costume. You have learned to bid the instrument be still, not as a trick, but as consent to governance. And you have seen that healing is nothing more than the refusal to grant jurisdiction to an appearance. Resist not evil, not because you are timid, but because you have found where power resides. All power is in the I that I am. Be still and know that I am God. This is the arc, simple and stern, and it will serve you every day of your life if you will serve it. Before we part, give me your next minute. Sit as you are. Let the shoulders fall without ceremony. Let the eyes soften in their sockets, without pushing a thought away and without inviting one in. Let the breath be as it is. Say within, once, not as a charm, but as recognition, be still. Now, again, more quietly, be still. And again, gentler yet, be still. Then come to the threshold and do not cross it. I am, and stop. Do not reach for the next word. Do not color the silence with hope or fear. Hold your peace. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Allow one slow breath to pass in which nothing is named, another, and a third. If a thought presses its case, let it wait at the door. If a feeling flashes its credentials, let it wait. Do not issue a passport. Remain where the name is uncompleted until you feel not a drama, but the weight of quiet take its seat. We will not stay longer. We will stay true. Make this your way. Keep to it daily until the peace of God is not an event, but the ground under your feet. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. You will know when it has become natural, because you will not be tempted to argue. You will not wish to convince. The finishing impulse will come like an old salesman, and you will not open the door. Disturbance will knock, and the body will remember. Without your prompting, be still. The tongue will be slow to quarrel. The hands will be quick to kindness. The mind will be content to behold. You will understand not by explanation, but by being what is real and what is weather. I must say this once more as a charge. Do not preach it. Demonstrate it. Do not hurry to speak of the name. Keep it unspoken until the peace descends. And even then, keep your secret. Let your moderation be known unto all men, not by announcement, but by steadiness. Put up thy sword. Words are swords when they are swung to win. Live so that your non-aggression is a shelter, your silence a governance, your calm a witness. Enter into thy closet. Remain there inwardly while moving through your day, and let the open reward be what it will, when it will, to whom it will. The kingdom does not come with observation, it comes with government, and the governor has no need of adjectives. So we close where we began. Be still and know that I am God. Leave it there. Let I am remain unspoken until it is no longer a phrase, but the felt presence that governs. Keep the schedule. Keep the micro resets. Keep the secret. And when the peace has descended and abides, you will not need me to tell you. You will know, peace be unto you.